You know that mid-afternoon crash where your brain feels like it's moving through molasses? That moment when you reach for another coffee, even though you know it'll just make you jittery? What if I told you there's something better, something ancient, powerful, and hiding in plain sight? This is not another energy drink scam. This is real. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tap into it. 1. The energy crisis nobody's talking about. Most people blame their fatigue on lack of sleep or stress. But here's what's really happening. Your body is starving for the right kind of fuel. Processed foods, artificial sweeteners, and even your morning coffee are draining your energy at the cellular level. You're not lazy. You've just been misled. The good news? Nature already solved this problem. The scary truth? This energy crisis is getting worse. A 2023 study from Harvard Medical School found that chronic fatigue cases have tripled since 2010, and it's not just from lack of sleep. The real culprit? Our modern diet is missing key micronutrients that our ancestors got from wild plants and roots. Your great-grandparents had access to nutrient-dense foods that no longer exist in grocery stores. Even healthy options today contain 30 to 40% fewer minerals than they did 50 years ago. That's why no amount of kale smoothies or vitamin pills seem to fix the problem. But here's what most doctors will not tell you. Fatigue is not just about what you're missing. It's about what's poisoning you. Glyphosate in conventional foods damages your gut lining, blocking nutrient absorption. Artificial blue light from screens disrupts your circadian rhythm at a cellular level. And chronic stress? It literally shrinks the mitochondria in your cells, the tiny power plants that create your energy. The solution is not another stimulant. It's going back to the roots, literally. 2. The desert's best-kept secret. Picture this. A plant so resilient it survives scorching heat, brutal winds, and years without rain. Its roots dig deep, pulling up nutrients most plants cannot access. For centuries, desert tribes have used these roots to sharpen their focus, boost stamina, and outlast the harshest conditions. Modern science is just catching up. Take the Saharan tribes who still follow ancient traditions. While Western explorers collapsed from heat exhaustion, these nomads could walk 40 miles per day in 120-degree heat with nothing but a pouch of dried roots. French colonial records from the 1800s document soldiers who adopted the practice and suddenly outmarched their caffeine-dependent comrades. Modern lab tests now show why. These roots contain unique polysaccharides that act like slow-release energy capsules in your bloodstream. The most fascinating part? These plants developed these compounds as survival mechanisms. In harsh desert conditions, they had to store energy more efficiently than any temperate zone plant. When you consume them, you're essentially hacking into that evolutionary wisdom. Unlike sugar that gives you a 20-minute rush or caffeine that leaves you depleted, these roots provide sustained energy because that's exactly what they evolved to do. 3. Your first energy upgrade. Here's where things get exciting. One particular desert root, let's call it nature's espresso, contains compounds that trigger mitochondrial energy production. Unlike caffeine, there's no crash. Studies show it can increase mental clarity by 30% in under an hour. The best part? You do not need to trek through the Sahara to get it. Let me break down exactly how this works biochemically. The active compounds in these roots, particularly one called rhodioliside, stimulate AMPK activation. This is your body's master energy switch that tells cells to produce more ADP. A 2021 UCLA study found it works 40% faster than caffeine at crossing the blood-brain barrier, but without triggering adrenaline spikes. Participants solved complex puzzles 22% faster with zero post-test crash. Practical tip. The optimal dose is 250 to 500 milligrams. Take it first thing in the morning with a fat source like almond butter. The lipids increase bioavailability by up to 60%. Avoid taking it after 2 p.m. initially, as some people report heightened alertness that could delay sleep. Pro athletes have a trick. They'll cycle it 5 days on, 2 days off to prevent tolerance buildup, though unlike caffeine. Studies show no withdrawal symptoms. 4. Why your brain is begging for this. Neurotransmitters like dopamine and acetylcholine control your focus and motivation. Chronic stress depletes them. Sugar disrupts them. But desert roots contain adaptogens that restore balance naturally. Think of it as hitting the reset button on your brain chemistry. Your brain runs on 2 key systems, the alertness network. ADHD meds artificially jack up both systems until they burn out. Desert roots take a smarter approach. They contain precursors like tyrosinol that let your body produce these neurotransmitters as needed. A 2022 Johns Hopkins trial found it worked as well as Ritalin for mild ADHD, with none of the emotional blunting side effects. Real-world proof? Silicon Valley tech workers are quietly ditching modafinil for this. One Google engineer I interviewed increased his productive coding time from 3 to 7 hours daily. The difference? No zombie mode, just clean, sustainable focus. His exact words: "It feels like someone turned up the resolution on my thoughts." 5. The corporate cover-up. Big Pharma does not want you to know about this. Why? Because you cannot patent a plant. Energy drinks and ADHD medications are a $50 billion industry, all while a dirt-cheap, side-effect-free alternative grows in the wild. Ask yourself, who benefits when you stay tired and distracted? Follow the money. The FDA has rejected 3 petitions to approve these roots as nootropic supplements. Why? Because drug approval requires isolating single compounds, but these roots work through synergistic combinations that cannot be patented. Meanwhile, energy drink companies spend $2 billion annually lobbying against natural stimulant research. Their worst nightmare? You realizing a $10 bag of powder outperforms their $5 cans. The censorship goes deeper. When a Montana researcher published findings about these roots' effects on chemotherapy fatigue, her funding mysteriously dried up. Her lab notebooks later revealed pressure from a pharmaceutical company that makes a competing and far more expensive fatigue drug. The good news? You do not need their approval. These roots grow wild across 4 continents and have been used safely for millennia. 6. How to use it like a pro. You do not need to chew raw roots like a camel. The most potent form is a simple powder. Add it to smoothies or tea. Start with half a teaspoon. Within 20 minutes, you'll feel a warm, steady alertness. No jitters. No crash. Just pure, clean energy. Timing matters. Take it 30 minutes before your most demanding task. That's when clinical trials show peak effects. For workouts, mix it with a pinch of sea salt. The sodium helps your cells utilize the active compounds faster. One CrossFit coach has athletes sip it during competitions and reports 30% fewer energy wall incidents. Taste hack. The earthy flavor can be intense. Blend it with raw cacao and cinnamon. Not only does this mask the bitterness, but the theobromine in cacao creates a complementary energy effect. My personal recipe: 1 teaspoon root powder, 1 tablespoon cacao, 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon, 12-ounce almond milk. It tastes like a mocha but gives laser focus instead of jitters. 7. The Warrior's Edge. Special ops soldiers and elite athletes are already using this. Navy SEALs report 72% longer endurance during training. Marathon runners shave minutes off their times. This is not hype. It's biohacking at its finest. The military applications are classified, but leaked documents show special forces use it for 72-hour ops when caffeine would cause tremors. Navy divers report it eliminates the nitrogen narcosis brain fog at depth. Even more impressive? Firefighters in Australia's outback now carry it during back-to-back wildfire shifts. It reduced decision-making errors by 38% compared to energy drinks. Olympic controversy. 3 medalists in the last Winter Games had it in their systems. The IOC panicked until tests confirmed it was not a synthetic PED, just an ancient plant. Now it's on the monitored list. One snowboarder told me off-record, it's like having a second wind that lasts for hours, but totally clean. 8. My personal turning point. Last year, I hit a wall. No matter how much I slept, I was exhausted. Then I tried this. The first day felt like someone flipped a switch. My riding output doubled. My workouts got easier. Even my mood stabilized. That's when I knew I had to share this. My breaking point came during a book deadline. After 14 hours staring at a blank screen, I tried the root tea. Within an hour, words flowed effortlessly. I wrote 5,000 coherent words that night. Later, I learned why. The compounds increase alpha brainwaves. The unexpected benefit? Emotional resilience. Normally under deadline stress, I'd snap at my family. But on the roots, I stayed calm during chaos. Research confirms this. It lowers cortisol by 18% while increasing DHEA. My wife noticed the difference immediately. You're present instead of just being awake. 9. The future of energy is ancient. Imagine a world where kids do not need ADHD meds. where offices stock herbal teas instead of energy drinks, where you wake up refreshed and stay sharp all day. That future starts with rediscovering what our ancestors knew. Forward-thinking companies are catching on. A Berlin startup gives employees a focused toolkit with these roots instead of coffee. Productivity jumped 27% with half the sick days. In Japan, some schools are testing it for ADHD students. Early results show math scores improving as much as prescription meds, with zero side effects. The environmental upside? These drought-resistant plants could revolutionize farming. They grow in deserts where other crops fail, needing no pesticides. One Kenyan women's cooperative now earns more selling these roots than they ever did with coffee, all while regenerating barren land. 10. Your next step. Don't just take my word for it. Try it yourself. I've linked the exact brand I use in the description. No shady suppliers, no fillers. Start small. Pay attention to how your body responds. And when you feel that surge of clean energy, come back and tell me in the comments. This is not just about feeling less tired. It's about reclaiming your focus, your time, and your potential. The desert's gift is waiting. All you have to do is reach for it. Hit subscribe, because next week I'm revealing another forgotten super herb, one that melts stress like butter in a hot pan. You will not want to miss it.